America, land of the free and home of the people who think they're the center of the universe. Like this Redditor who says the USA has the best geography and nature on Earth. If you disagree, you are wrong. So much for having a popular opinion. Hey everyone, Noble Xenon here, and welcome to Shit Americans Say. Let's get started. So, it's so funny to me that the Canadian airport has decided Americans are the only ones who might not realize they're foreigners. And on the sign above foreign passports, you can see the globe and just the American flag. I mean, to be fair, trying to fit so many flags isn't gonna go too well. But it is kind of funny they had to make it real clear to the Americans. And the American replies, there's literally a picture of the whole world and a US flag, so it means out of all the types of foreigners, US citizens are the most important. Or maybe there's just been a lot of Americans who get in the wrong line. This next one loudly proclaims on Twitter 1,000 US Marines could take India. Wait, is that the same India I'm thinking of? Like the India with a population of over 1.4 billion and the second largest military on the planet? That India? They do say China is living in the future. They're also manufacturing in the future, crying laughing emoji. China shit quality, hashtag buy American. And they show the date. And the reply, who's gonna explain it to him? Who's gonna explain that dates are written differently in different countries of the world? And Dazzling Classic says, you can explain it to him, but you can't understand it for him. Though it's interesting how the batch number is just the manufacturing date written differently, with the year first this time around. Guess it's easier for a computer to keep track of that way. And staying on the topic of dates, some Redditor says month, then day, then year makes no sense. You're also screwed if you read the date as day, then month, then year, cause unless the date of the month is higher than 12, you have no indication the person is using the American system. Out of all the weird systems y'all have, that one pisses me off the most. And the American replies, we say it is January 21st, and it's easier to read as 01/21 as opposed to 21/01, which we would instinctively read as 21st January. I mean, unless it's the 4th of July, then you read it as the 4th of July because America. If it pisses you off so bad, stop using the internet or simply stop interacting with Americans. I don't see anything here unless we begin equating Europe into it. For example, football is NFL, until we include EU, in which case it's whatever they call yours. Point being, if you don't engage with Americans, you won't see it. Otherwise, all I can say is cope. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what happens when we combine the American and the Redditor all in one. God help us. This next one claims I'm in the UK. 90% of the population hate the UK, wishing they was in the USA. Stop the cap, sobbing emojis, 3 of them. Now I'm not sure where you got that 90% figure from, but it's real easy to just make numbers up online, just saying. And so we go back to the X app thing. There's no demand for public transit in the USA. Transit in the USA. Driving takes 11 minutes, while public transportation takes 2 hours and 7 minutes. Good lord. Now you might say they probably picked an extreme example, but in a lot of places in the US it's like that. And the reply, public transport is a gateway drug to EU-style socialism. No thanks. I'll drive. Now hold on a minute, wouldn't there be more freedom if public transportation and driving were both viable options? It means that this dude gets to drive while people who can't drive can use public transit. This next one's more funny than anything. Who says America doesn't have culture and it shows a McDonald's and a Subway in a vaguely castle-shaped building? And Redditors, I don't know why they're taking this so serious, it's obviously a joke. Like this dude says, if a multi-billion-dollar food chain which sells greasy and dry slop is considered the pinnacle of your own culture, then I don't have any hopes for the rest of your culture. And the thing is, I only ever had German McDonald's, or food quality standard are way higher than American food quality regulations. If our McDonald's only tastes like acceptable slop, what does American McDonald's taste like? Alright, settle down, we understand it's slop. And now we have an American who tosses a question across the pond here on r/AskUK. Hello, I'm American. I have a question. If I, not me specifically, just like in the hypothetical I sense, there had to be a shorter way to clarify that. Took an English heritage site castle by force with like 50 guys and it was on a moat with a hill and everything. Would the UK government have to siege it down medieval style? I mean, I'm sure they have other methods, but let's see what this person has to say. Cause it can't use ammo. It'd damage the site and also be super uncool to gun people down over a prank. I'd wear knight armor so like pepper spray and maybe tasers would be BS too. Also, UK police aren't immediately identifiable as displaying psychopathic tendencies and don't normally carry guns. Culture shock as an American, I've gotta say. So, like, would they just send in cops with batons and they'd have to climb the walls with ladders and shit? I don't know who to talk to get an accurate answer, but I've been thinking about this for a while. I'm willing to put myself on a watch list for a real answer. Also, no hostages. That would be messed up. They can just go home, but like, they gotta go quickly. I'm taking over a castle here. Ah yes, just casually taking over a whole damn castle. And if you somehow manage to take it over, what the hell is your plan afterward? Hey, if you're enjoying this video, then why not like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell? We go to the YouTube comments for this next one. I can easily imagine what a kilometer looks like, but football fields? Which football fields? Football as in football, or quote football? A professional field or an amateur one? I don't get this meme. Metric is less comprehensible than normal units. Do other countries not use comparative measurements to aid with scale? I find that hard to believe. I mean, there's a reason why Americans will use anything but the metric system is basically a meme. How do you imagine what a kilometer is? A kilometer isn't a thing. It's 1,000 meters. How isn't it a thing? Though I think American football fields are often used because the length is standardized and it's easy to imagine for a lot of Americans. Imagine being Canada. 1. You officially gain independence 2 whole centuries later than the United States of America. 2. You beg and plead with the British for independence instead of take it because every decent country is independent and self-determining. 3. You are a loyal, weak servant of the British without dignity, and to this day, Canadians bend the knee to the English king plus pay taxes to the British monarchy, LOL. The naive is off the charts. 4. Your only artificial identity is being not the US because they do not have their own culture, scientific, military, and economic achievements. Wow, way to insult Canada and their entire culture. 5. Canada, choosing the path of submission to the British, still has an economy 15 times smaller than the US. I mean, it wouldn't really make sense for the Canadian economy to be as big as the American one because the Canadian population is a lot smaller. That's why statistics per capita are a thing. 6. The US is a modern republic while Canada is still on its knees. Pretty sure Canada has their own government, but okay. And 7. Guess what the 51st state is? Oh god. The ignorance levels here are off the charts. And this next one talks about walkable cities. If I wanted to walk, I'll go for a hike in the woods. Europeans don't have real natural forests of note, so they just walk around in their cities and pretend like that's amazing. So you're telling me that an entire continent is completely devoid of any forests whatsoever? And now it makes sense why Europe want to be Americans. America gets so much attention because it's like watching a weird sitcom. And the American replies, it's because we are global trendsetters. We invented everything from music to food to technology. I mean, it makes sense why Europe wants to be Americans. Yes, I wonder how humans survived before the year of our Lord 1776. My ancestors were Irish for 5,000 years. Our lands were stolen during the potato famine. I'm Irish in a way people in Ireland would never understand. You know, as if the people of Ireland also didn't have Irish ancestors, because they're literally in Ireland. There's looking back at your heritage, and then there's whatever this is. And this next one is what happens when Redditor Cringe and American Cringe collide. Who get ready. So the OP, which is the person who received a passport with not valid written on it, gets a comment from another Redditor who says, you don't make it obvious which country yours is from. Presumably by yours, they mean your passport. OP replies, US, and someone else replies, r/US defaultism. You found the #1 issue with this sub, US by default. And the American Redditor, not the OP, replies, Reddit is founded by Americans. Over 40% of its user base is American. Does that mean other countries can't participate? Of course not. Does it mean it's a little weird for you to get upset that the default is US? Kind of. 40% is not even a majority, though. Or is it more likely that USians, I guess that's what Redditors are calling Americans nowadays, are just a little bit ignorant about the world around them? Ignorant because they assume the American app with mostly American users has mostly American-centric posts? That seems like a good deduction. My dude, chill. All you gotta do is specify that you're American. It's not that hard. And we go to the YouTube comments, if we're so stupid, then why are we the best country in the world? Why are we the most desired? Why are we number one? Yet somehow 84 people liked that. What Fahrenheit haters will never understand is that Celsius system simply does not allow one the outlet of incredulously going 107 degrees when it is 107 degrees outside. 41 degrees is far too mild a number when grappling with the fact that it is 107 friggin' degrees outside. I mean, to be fair, if we're judging on that alone, 107 degrees does sound a lot more dramatic. Like, it really sounds like, damn, it's hot outside. And also, Fahrenheiters is kinda clever. This next one is so wrong, it's just like, what are you even talking about, bro? Kind of like the nonsense maps people put forward about obesity. According to American criteria for what is and isn't obese, about 75% of Europe would be obese, and if America used European standards, it would be the thinnest and healthiest country in the world. You can't compare a country to another if the means in which they record their data is completely different. According to American datasets, I'm in the category of morbidly obese. If you saw me in person, you'd say, damn, that guy is in really good shape. That's because in America, height and body weight are the only two factors that go into the judgment of obesity, which means bodybuilders are considered morbidly obese by American data recording standards. Fitness women that go to the gym are considered obese by these records also, while Reddit is flooded with propaganda about how America is the fattest country in the world. The fact is, America is one of the most active, gym-going countries in the world. Received 10 downvotes. It sounds like this person is talking about BMI, which yes, generally doesn't work for bodybuilders and athletes and such, but you, random Redditor, are probably not one of those, and the vast majority of Americans aren't either. So what are you even on about, buddy? It's something is an American phenomenon, it's a global phenomenon. America's the only country that produces phenomenons, which is why it's the only country that matters. You hear that, rest of the world? Usain Bolt, Messi, Ronaldo, the Beatles, etc. aren't global phenomena, only good old American-made can be. This next one claims Europe doesn't do ice. Weird things I packed for my 2-week Scottish Highland Manor House stay with 15 friends and how smart it was. Number 1. Ice trays. Europe doesn't do ice. Like, at all? Ice trays are $1 each and I brought 4. Indeed, the house had 1 tray and some sectional single-use freezer bags, meaning that they do ice. Score, 8 out of 10. Reason, 2 would have been enough. So you take away 2 points because you brought too many ice trays, after you realize that yes, Europe does in fact do ice? This next one says, it's easy for Finland to spend all that money to socialism when they don't need to pay their own defense because the USA pays Finland's entire defense. This was posted on a video presenting Helsinki's public library, which by the way, pretty cool looking building there. Like, whoa. And the Roman ruler, wasn't aware the Roman Empire was back, replies, oh wow, couldn't have picked the worst country to be wrong on. Finland wasn't even a part of NATO until a few years ago. And by a few, they mean literally just 2 years ago. They joined in 2023. Although the fact that Finland joined NATO rather recently doesn't matter for this next person who says Finland enjoyed the protection of the American nuclear deterrence, which we paid for before and now that you finally joined NATO. This is why the Soviets didn't take all of Finland with their millions of troops and superior military. You'd be speaking Russian without us. Fact. And tops it off with a clown emoji. Was that for yourself? This next one's titled, Shut Up, Your Europe Runs on Our Money. Lol, where are you getting 4-bedroom house in Dublin for 420k? I literally lived 6 years in Livermore and nowadays it costs 1.5 mil. Well, this poster is talking about Dublin, Ireland, LMAO, which uses euros, not dollars. They're from Ireland. Why I see all Americans ruining their presence online every day. Can't you learn? Shut up, your Europe runs on our money, so be grateful. Typical American. Is it a flex to say I've eaten McDonald's in Greece, Italy, France, and now the UK? If you want to try McDonald's items from around the world, stuff that's not available locally, then go ahead. Thing is, I wouldn't exactly call it a flex, but anyway, don't worry food police, back to the something, maybe exercise and dieting when I get home, crying laughing emojis. Also, I've been walking 1 trillion steps a day around London because Europe, you know. On r/career guidance, is 6 days off for 2025 excessive? I'm a contractor who doesn't get paid time off. If I don't go in, I don't get paid. My coworker asked how many days off I took this year and I told him 6. He told me that is crazy and that is way too much. Am I in the twilight zone here? Is 6 days too much time taken off? I mean, I do work from home. No, even as an American, I can tell you 6 days off is not too much in the slightest. Like, the fact that people are pressured to work so much is actually a problem. Back to the YouTube comments for this next one. Wonderful. Greetings from Denmark. Replying to a video of Gavin Newsom announcing a new climate partnership with Denmark. And the American replies, greetings from a California 1600s New Netherlands colony, Denmark, mtDNA, which apparently means mitochondrial DNA, descendant. FYI, my Danish mitochondrial DNA, matriarchy, all my mother's grandmothers are Swedish. English, French colonies, descendants, Mayflower descendants, and New Netherlands. Basically, we are related to tens of millions of US citizens beginning in the 1600s, and our Swedish-American families are primarily moved from Midwest in World War II to California, Oregon, and Washington. Bro brought out their whole lineage from the 1600s until now. Good lord. Greetings from California. Not all the citizens of the United States have gone crazy. Lol JK. We've all gone crazy. It's a lost cause here. This next Redditor says, do Europeans not know what a joke is? Easiest country to rage bait. Which, calling Europe a country just adds to the rage bait. And now we go to TikTok where people respond to a Brazilian girlfriend who's speaking angry Portuguese. How is she Brazilian if she speaks Portuguese? What language do you think they speak in Brazil? Brazilian? Holy moly, Brazilian is a nationality, not a language. They speak Portuguese in Brazil. It's like how Americans speak English, not American. But Americans don't speak English, they speak American. Please tell me you're trolling. Please. This next one says, good luck finding breakfast in Italy. All I found was cookies, pastries, and croissants. Leaving tomorrow and running home to New York. Real breakfast. Just got back from Italy to New York 2 weeks ago. I was so excited to have her food again. It's almost as if people eat different things in different parts of the world. Who knew? This next one thinks America would dominate every sport on the planet. Respectfully, if more Americans played all the sports, you would overwhelmingly see us dominating every sport around the world, including soccer. Even though we do play it and don't dominate, but they do have a reason for it. Ironically, the reason why America doesn't dominate men's soccer is because all of our greatest athletes are either playing football, basketball, or baseball, and I mean every race of men in the US. Sports is just sort of our culture, and we battle from little leagues in our respective sports. It's just something different. So my guy came out there and was beat by the best that beat out the best to make it that far. Good luck back on that rugby field, and pray Americans don't take up a liking to that too. Not speaking from a place of arrogance, just from a place of reality. The only sports we take a backseat typically is track, Jamaicans, and hockey, Canadians. You see, you just gotta let the other countries win once in a while. Not speaking from a place of arrogance, but said with an overwhelming sense of arrogance. Imagine measuring your ingredients by weight rather than leveling your cups properly and not being able to do a recipe from memory without a calculator, even if you have to ratio it. Want to quickly triple or third your recipe? You can with Imperial. I don't know why you act like people who use the metric system can't do recipes by memory. Really? You're gonna quickly third 531 grams of flour? Imagine learning proportions in middle school. Cool. Without using a calculator, pen, or paper, what's a fourth of 369 grams of flour? And Kiwi Fruit says it didn't occur to this person that we don't have recipes with 369 grams, but 50, 100, 150, etc. And dividing those numbers by 4 is pretty easy. I don't know about other people, but I'm able to do those divisions in my head. And now apparently North America means the United States and only the United States. I laugh at the replies, North America, no, that's the United States, and states being a big clue. As if Canada doesn't exist, as if Mexico doesn't exist. With a single laughing reaction. When 5 nuclear missiles are heading toward your country, but you decide to trust your gut, and by doing so, you save the world from nuclear war. And the comment, I've read this multiple times, this is such a heroic tale. This guy may have been Russian, but he was a true American. Even though he was Russian. I guess heroic automatically means American no matter where in the world you are. We go to the Elon X app thing for this next one. I used to feel this way, but my last consideration is always to imagine the worst case scenario. I'll take a zombie apocalypse here in the USA over any other land on the planet. And what are the chances of that happening that you're considering it? We are armed to the teeth, and this nation's founding document says that God has ordained it so. If everything really goes to shit, then this is the best place to be. At least you have a fighting chance. Do any of you remember in the history books when God descended upon America and told its citizens, "Thou shalt be armed to the teeth"? Maybe my history book was missing a page, I don't know. And for this next one, watch out. If you're not American, you will tremble in fear. Listen here, Canada and any other NATO allied country. We could end your entire country in under 5 minutes. Lucky for you, we are friends. All that defense spending we do allows you to enjoy those things. Without us, you'd probably have been invaded by China or Russia or someone else who isn't friendly and has a large enough military to do it. You're welcome for the security. You should stay in your lane in regard to American spending, cause you probably wouldn't like the end result if we changed our minds about protecting others like you. Okay, but why do we have to be so threatening to our neighbors? That's not really a good way to treat them. Oh yeah, and the thread topic was student loans. How such a comment could spawn from that topic? Only America knows. For this next one, are these Reddit DMs? Do you currently live in Russia? Yes. Wow, that's pretty cool. Why are you surprised? Because most people around the world move to the United States. LMAO, no. Most people around the world live in their homelands. Also, if that were the case that most people around the world move to America, wouldn't the US have the highest population? Clearly it doesn't. We still haven't picked one completely, but we're leaning towards Bianca, spelled B-Y-A-N-N-C-K-A-H. Good lord. Sorry, what now? Like Bianca, but we didn't want the usual Bianca spelling because it's too Mexican. What? Bianca's Italian? Okay, well here it's Mexican. Alright, people really need to stop being so cute with the names. Like, if I go to r/tragedy, I know my head would explode. This next one claims, considering a majority of the world owes its existence to the US, this is very appropriate. Referring to why the US doesn't dip its flag to the host nation of the Olympics. Excuse me, what? I'm convinced that like half of the people on here are just rage baiting. Like, do we really have that many people with such a sense of superiority? And for this next one, you can't just assume non-Americans know what a constitution is, as if other countries don't also have their own constitutions. This next American in a YouTube comment section says, all this is just appeasing to Euro-poor cope. Europeans cannot comprehend how rich us Americans are. You can make 150 grand annually working in a gas station or as a bartender. I want to know what gas station is paying 150,000. I would submit my job application right now. Anyway, well-paid lawyers and software engineers in Germany only earn 50,000. They live in squat little houses, have no AC, and have no freedom to speak against their governments. Life is miserable in Europe. They all want to live in America. You only saw the tourist Disney stuff. This next one says, all of Europe is just a larger version of Disneyland. We fly in, have a coffee, look at the cool stuff their ancestors did 500 years ago, and then go back to our own countries, where we invent and innovate. Hey, they said countries, so it's not only America. It's still a pretty damn ignorant comment though. So here's some American Redditor who I guess was trying to piss someone else off. Wherever you're from, it's a joke compared to the US. Also, you're probably a joke like the rest of your people. Be grateful to America, and then they go on to threaten to bomb them. That is just unhinged. Like, what the hell, man? This next one really put the NYPD, like the New York Police Department, against the whole military of Venezuela, and they said we'd take their country in 2 days, using a damn police department. Buddy, I don't know what to tell you. Police departments are not supposed to be militaries. We'll keep this last one nice and short. All this technology and you still can't spell favorite using the American spelling when the British one came first. So, I'd like to thank all of my members, especially Amethyst Phoenix, Catalin Cormendi, and Mike Hawk. Hold up. You can join simply by clicking the join button below. Feel free to like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell if you enjoyed it, and feel free to comment if you've got something on your mind.